Hello everybody. Today's opponent once lived in Finland and we met in Title Tuesday. Qiyu, Nemo, Zhou. Our game was uninteresting and instructive. Let's take a look. She played e4 and my opening was c5 Sicilian, knight f3, d6, d4, takes, knight f6, knight c3, a6, so we have neither, and she played bishop e3, which is the main line. I played e5, knight b3, and then bishop e7. Here she played h3, which is not the main line. Main idea is to play f3 here and queen d2 and castling. But this is also quite good idea. Probably the idea is to play queen f3 and long castling or some kind of f4 ideas. Anyway, I choose to play h5 here, which is not the best, I guess, but it prevents g4 ideas and it's quite useful in many cases. So I think this is playable too. Maybe bishop e6 is and standard development is the best option here for black, but anyway, this was the game continuation and she played queen d2. My move was bishop e6 and then long castling, knight bd7 and f4. Here the threat is probably f5 and my bishop doesn't have good squares I have to take here, and that's why I played rook c8, and this is not the only idea is not to give a square for bishop, because there is also a standard sacrificing idea which is quite interesting one in this position. If white plays f5 here, the idea is not to play bishop c4. Black can take here immediately, and this looks very promising for black. If queen takes, knight can take on e4, and then it hits the queen, and then f5 pawn can be taken. And also same idea works in this line, because now queen is hanging again and black can take f5, and as we see, computer likes black a lot here. The other line is to take here with pawn and then try to take d7 as well, but knight takes e4 covers the rook and hits the queen. So here white's position is it's not so good that might seem in first glance. If pawn takes here, queen takes back, and then if queen goes somewhere, for example queen e1, black can take here, and then nice skewer with knight and bishop. So this kind of tactics works in this position quite well, and that's why f5 is a blunder. But she didn't play that move. She played bishop d3, and now I played h4. Actually, I didn't play h4. That is of course a common idea, but I played b5 first. Here, if f5 happens, then I can put my bishop here, and of course there is double protection at the moment. So if bishop somehow takes here, I can take with rook. It's quite equal position after that, but even better is to take with pawn, because then knight has to go to a1, and usually it's bad news for white if this kind of things happens. So here white played king b1, which is a very useful move in many lines, and now I played h4 to prevent g4 ideas. White has probably small advantage here, but it's quite typical position anyway. Rook to f1, and I played queen c7, and now this was the first mistake in this game, I guess, because now knight goes backwards, and I don't see what is the point here. Maybe white didn't have any other plans, because actually there was almost 40 seconds thought in this kind of blitz game. So probably this is a sign for that white doesn't have clear plan what to do. Probably the best idea is to take here and then try to play standard knight d5. For example, if I take with pawn to keep these squares in control, white can play knight d5. I have to take, and then something like this, bishop f5, and now I can't take here because there is intermediate move, and then white is winning, so black has to play knight to f6, and something like bishop g5 gives a good compensation for white. Black is one pawn up, but this position it's not so funny to play. There is many threats, and it's even after castling there is some kingside attack ideas for white, and probably black has to be very careful to keep in the game. Anyway, this was the move in the game, and then I played knight c5. The idea is, of course, attack here and try to create something. Computer likes knight b6, and the idea is knight c4. This is also quite standard idea, and it's even better here. Okay, this was my move, and she played knight takes c5, pawn takes back, and c3. Probably white was worried about c4 because bishop is in trap at the moment, but there might be chance to take here first, and then my knight is hanging. I have to play something. Maybe this is a bit more active, because after knight d7, knight f4 is happening, and then if black takes e5, even this is possible, and then bishop e2. Now white has a bishop pair, and black's king looks quite vulnerable in the center. So something like this, but okay, maybe black can play knight h5 here to prevent knight f4, but somehow knight c3 works now, because there is knight d5 ideas again, and then c4 is nothing, because okay, even knight d5 is an option here, but bishop e2 and black pieces are not playing well together. Anyway, it's not so easy to find this kind of moves in blitz, so here c3 was played after some 30-20 seconds thought. I played rook d8, and I remember that there was already some kind of sacrificing ideas. And of course, knight takes e4 is also because this bishop is pinned. She played queen c1, and I took here, which is brilliant according to computer, because after rook takes back, I can play bishop c4, and then rook is hanging, and I can get very good knight if rook goes to d2. For example, this kind of ideas are very good for black. Rook comes here. I can even take here and play this kind of fork. So everything works for black here. But in the game, she played queen c2. I took on e4 and then pawn took on e5. Somehow I didn't take here. Maybe I thought that I don't need to, and of course white is in serious time trouble, so after castling it's not so easy to play good moves because rook is hanging and there's threats if rook goes somewhere. Bishop f4 was a good move, I guess, and queen c6 is a mistake because then this rook can go somewhere, so it's better to take here and play queen c6 after that, because I can have this kind of ideas after rook d8, queen e3, queen g6, and black king is safe, and white's king is quite vulnerable, and black pieces are playing much better together. Anyway, in the game this was played, and after rook e3 I played rook d8. Okay, this tactics works again because after rook takes here, okay, of course bishop d3, but in this line I can take here and then check, and black is winning. Rook d1, takes, and queen g6. The idea is, of course, make some nasty tactics or take g2 pawn. And here it seems that after queen g1, black has to trade queens, but even in this kind of situation, black has some edge, actually quite good edge. After bishop d5, strong knight and bishops, and this bishop can be a problem for white. For example, black can play with active king, and it's not so easy to use white pieces in this position. Maybe this is the reason why this is so good for black, even white is ahead of material there. b3, bishop e6, and b3 is probably mistake because king's position gets weaker. Queen b2. Okay, there was again idea. Was it? Yeah. Here maybe queen here gives some practical chances, but this position is already winning for black. And now this ending is quite similar that what I analyzed just before, but this is my even better because there's some attack and then some tricks like this. Okay, black's position is not so good anymore. Probably okay, here was a fork, but we were in serious time trouble here, so this is quite typical time scramble ending. And then there was few mistakes, and the rest is quite easy, because just bring your king here, win this pawn, or advance with your pawn, and then there's too many passed pawns, and the rest is quite easy. Here white resigned, and the game ended here. In this game there was many instructive moments, those sacrificing ideas and tactics, and some main ideas in Night of Sicilia. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.